I will make you as a light to the nations, so that my salvation may reach to the ends of the earth. Isaiah 49:6.
My favorite place, the Metro.
My favorite place was the Metro just because I like getting on the trains.
My favorite place in Montreal is Atwater Market.
Atwater Market.
My favorite place in Montreal was probably Oscar Peterson Park.
My favorite place in Montreal is Oscar Peterson Park.
My favorite place in Montreal are the parks.
The Open Door, the homeless shelter.
Favorite activity? Probably just getting to play with the kids when you get the chance. Like doing card tricks for them because they lose their minds and it's hilarious.
My favorite activity is probably either painting the kids' faces at the festival or just playing with the kids in general in the parks. They're always really fun.
I don't know, probably surfing in the homeless shelter. That was really cool, getting to just kind of step out of my comfort zone and get to just see people who are less privileged than me in a big city.
My favorite activity in Montreal is the festival. You get to see lots of different kids, and I usually work the craft table, so I see lots of different ones that come up throughout the day. And it's just really cool to get to talk to a lot of different people.
I would advise them to find a skill that they really enjoy, whether it's just playing soccer with kids or talking to the parents, but find something you really enjoy and get to where you're decently good at it.
I would probably just say what you think is going to happen on the trip is not going to happen. Every trip is different. I know this group is just completely different than last group in like every single aspect. But really just keep an open mind, be happy with what you're given, be happy with like the people that God gives you to talk to. And not every conversation you're gonna have is gonna be amazing. You're not gonna remember everything, but just keep an open mind and be happy that you're here.
My piece of advice to a new team member would be to try and come in with as little expectation as possible. Even returning, things are so different this year. So just really trust God and remember that He'll work things out how He wants it to go.
My advice to new team members would probably be to not go into it expecting anything specifically. Just use what talents and gifts you have to the best of your abilities, and God will do the rest, and then you'll gain as much as you can from the experience.
Probably to be able to go with the flow. When you go to Montreal, you get a schedule, but it tends to get changed a lot, especially when we go. We have the festival for St. Jean Baptiste, and normally a lot of the places that we'll work with will be closed one day, so we get shifted around a lot. So just be able to go with the flow and just, I guess, be relaxed when things get changed.
The biggest thing for me is just not being afraid to just have that conversation with the kid, like ask them just straight up, like, do you believe in God? Just start straight into the conversation. To not be afraid to ask the question.
To prepare for the trip, I didn't really do much. I bought longer shorts and I packed a couple hours before midnight, the night before.
To prepare myself for the trip, I think it's just really important to get in the Word and to pray about it. As Madam says, prayer is such a big thing in life. She always often says, if the prayer team isn't filled, we're not going on the trip. So I think it's just a big deal to pray about the trip and pray for God's guidance through it all.
I prepared for this trip just by practicing my French a little bit, by talking with some friends, but mostly the only preparation I did was just praying by myself and with other people over the trip.
Madam normally will hand out a lot of sheets, and honestly I normally just read those and take them seriously. She doesn't hand those out just for fun. I mean, she really does want you to read them and learn about them, and they really do help you, I guess, think about what opportunities you'll have there, and they also prepare you for those opportunities.
The biggest thing God's taught me through Montreal has probably just been to be thankful for the community that I have around me. Montreal is only 0.5% Christianity, and so they just have a really small Christian community, whereas here in East Tennessee, Knoxville, where I've grown up my whole life, almost everyone I know is a Christian, and so I just think I often take that for granted, whereas in Montreal they don't have that.
The biggest thing that God has taught me through Montreal is probably to get rid of all expectations and just trust in Him, because spending an entire week talking to people you don't know in a different language is really hard, especially since ministering is hard in and of itself. So it really makes you rely on Him and just trust in Him the whole time.
So I was one of the lucky few that got to go to Maniwaki, and when I found out that we weren't going to be able to go back, I was pretty heartbroken, and Madam said that she didn't know if we would be able to have the opportunity to go on another mission trip that year. And so when we had the opportunity and found out that we were going to have Montreal, it was really a blessing. And so just trusting God in that and knowing that He can make things happen when it seems very unlikely, that's probably the biggest lesson that I've learned or taken away from it.
I think the biggest thing that God has taught me is that you can just be kind to people and show the love of God, just like not only in Montreal, but in Knoxville too, just by like showing people love through your actions.
Probably just a thank you to all the adults that have helped out on the trip. I know that it takes a lot of work and a lot of time. I can see my mom with her doing it and just getting a back kind of behind the scenes view, and then also Madam. I know that you've worked really hard on these trips, and I really appreciate it, and I know how much they mean to you, and they've meant a lot to me. And probably to just future teammates and stuff, just really take it seriously. It's not a vacation. Really try to do God's work while you're there, and you will enjoy it. It's a great trip.
Way down to the A&W, I decided that old baby boy wants a brew. So got me a root beer, got me a root beer, got me a root beer.